and I'm sure Shawn Michaels gets this question every time he does an interview. They asked him about possibly stepping back into the ring, and listen, he mentioned that he's been retired for 8 years now, and it would take a lot for him to step back into the ring. He doesn't know if he would be the showstopper or Mr. WrestleMania that everyone does remember, but he is open to the possibility of having one more match. Now, he said that maybe it should be a tag match, like a DX reunion, but he also mentioned that there are a few guys that are on the roster now that he would love to step into the ring with. One being AJ Styles, one being Daniel Bryan, and one being Johnny Gargano from NXT. And obviously we know that Shawn Michaels trained Daniel Bryan and that Shawn Michaels been doing work for NXT. I know, Bully, you put the poll up on your Twitter, at BullyRay5150 about who you would like to see in the ring with Shawn Michaels. But I find it interesting that someone that's been away for 8 years is even open to the possibility of making an in-ring return.
Well, I'm not that shocked, and here's why. Shawn has been spending a lot of time with the guys and gals down in NXT. He's probably been there for what, 2 years now?
Probably about 2 years, yeah.
And I believe what Shawn has started to see is he sees how passionate those guys and girls are. He sees how much fun they're having. He gets to work with them side by side. He sees the crowds that they perform in. He's a part of that energy. He's a part of that passion again. When Shawn goes to NXT, it probably reminds him of the fun that he once had back in the day. I equate it to Ring of Honor and ECW and the fun I had back in the day. So it's probably got his juices flowing all over again. He probably says to himself, oh man, I could do this. I would have fun. I think out of all those guys, the one who can benefit most from a match with Shawn Michaels is Johnny Gargano. Because listen, AJ versus Shawn, that's your WrestleMania dream match. AJ versus Daniel Bryan, that's your student versus teacher dream match. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles don't need that rub from Shawn Michaels. Johnny Gargano, on the other hand, wow. That would be awesome, because the story is that Shawn Michaels is working hand in hand with Gargano, and NXT comes out of retirement to have that one match, gives Gargano that match that he needs, that propels Gargano to superstardom.
I agree. I'm totally with you. I would take Gargano too, just because, listen, there's nobody hotter on the NXT brand than Johnny Gargano, but we all know that at some point he's going to be moved to the main roster, and we see how sometimes people that are at the height on NXT, what could happen. Just look at Bobby Roode right now after the heel run he had with NXT and what he's doing on the main roster. So I'm a little afraid of what would happen to Johnny Gargano if he did move to the main roster. And maybe being in a ring with somebody like Shawn Michaels could do wonders for Johnny Gargano. Here's the other thing, too. And he kind of falls back on it, saying that most likely it would be a tag match with Triple H, like a DX reunion. If Shawn Michaels comes back, I don't want it to be in a tag match with Triple H or it to be a DX reunion. The last time we saw Shawn Michaels in a match, it was against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. If he ever decided to step in the ring, it has to be something that's significant. And I think those three people that he mentioned, any one of those matches would be significant. I don't want to see Shawn Michaels just be in a tag match. And I understand he's been away for 8 years, and he kind of says, hey, it's not going to be the Shawn Michaels that you remember. It's not going to be the showstopper. It's not going to be Mr. WrestleMania. I don't even think we need it to be that Shawn Michaels that we saw 10 to 15 years ago. I think Shawn Michaels, whatever he can do, would be enough. And let me ask you this, Bully. Does he need to have that one more match? I mean, is it a good idea for him to have one more match? And quite honestly, do you think we'll ever get that one match from Shawn Michaels?
I think you might get the one match, but in my opinion, it should not be against AJ Styles. It should not be against Daniel Bryan. and it should not be against Johnny Gargano. If I get one more match out of Shawn Michaels, you know who I want to see it against?
Who?
Ciampa.
Interesting.
Shawn Michaels is the quintessential selling babyface. Could you ever see Shawn Michaels coming out there to endorse Johnny Gargano one day and Ciampa taking offense to that and laying out Shawn Michaels? You see, if Shawn Michaels is admittedly limited right now, there's one thing that Shawn can do better than just about anybody else, and that's sell.
Yep.
Could you imagine Ciampa getting heat on old-ass Shawn Michaels right now? That would propel Ciampa to the next level. There's your story. Right. Ciampa versus Shawn Michaels is money. Good versus evil, young versus old. Can Shawn Michaels pull out that one last sweet chin music to drop Ciampa?
It's a great one because the three that he mentioned are all faces. AJ, Gargano, Daniel Bryan. But to have somebody like Ciampa, who is the ultimate heel right now, and Shawn Michaels, who's the ultimate babyface, let's face it, nobody wants to boo Shawn Michaels. If he comes back for one more match, no one's going to boo him. The entire WWE universe would be excited to see Shawn Michaels back. It's almost impossible to put him in the ring with somebody like a Daniel Bryan or an AJ Styles.
Listen, it's a no-brainer to me. Okay, you always want the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You want the good guys versus the bad guys. I understand Shawn versus AJ, dream match. But Shawn has admitted that he doesn't know if he can go at that level anymore, which is understandable, and I appreciate his honesty. Daniel Bryan, listen, they've been trying to get to that match. They haven't been trying to get to that match. There's been scuttlebutt about it for years. So what's really the story? Oh, I trained you. You were my teacher. Let's have a match. There's got to be some kind of animosity there. Does Shawn Michaels show up as the heel and super kick Daniel Bryan and say, I'm really unhappy because you became a bigger star than me and I trained you? Come on. That ain't going to work. And then we got Gargano. Well, it's the good guy versus the good guy. You know, there's really nothing there. What I'd love to see is Shawn Michaels endorse Johnny Gargano. Be by his side. Tell Johnny Gargano that, you know what? I think you can be the next guy. I think you can be the next Shawn Michaels. I think you can be the next megastar. I think you can carry this company. I think you are the guy. And that's when Ciampa hits the ring and absolutely obliterates Shawn Michaels. That's when Gargano punches, that's when Ciampa punches Gargano in the face, handcuffs him to the ropes, and makes Gargano watch as Ciampa completely decimates Shawn Michaels in front of him. That's a story. That's heat. That's emotional investment. And now you build to the match where Gargano has to be in Shawn Michaels' corner for the match against Ciampa. Because Ciampa is going to benefit from a boatload of heat that he will get on Shawn Michaels. And then you build to this finish where you think Shawn Michaels can pull the victory out of his ass. And then it doesn't work, and Ciampa beats him.